At this time, we'll have the invocation by Reverend Dr. Lionel Finley of South Lawn Baptist Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with Lanier High School ROTC.
This is on. Let us pray. Almighty God, we come now this day. We thank you for the blessings that you have bestowed on us. Now, as we have gathered here, we pray your blessing on this school board, the Montgomery County School Board, its staff, the entire administration. In fact, Lord, we pray for our school system and our children. And God, we pray that your wisdom will prevail, that we will use our energies to do what is good for our children. We ask your blessings now that those who would give up themselves to make a difference for good, that you would give them strength to labor in a way that would benefit our children and, yes, this community. And God, we just pray now that as you would continue to give us strength, that each of us, where we can be a source of encouragement and not criticism, God, let us be willing to extend a hand to help. God, we also pray for those who are in decision-making position beyond this system. May they too look at the works of this community and be encouraged about what they would see. And whatever we would claim in the way of victory, God, we would acknowledge that you and you alone made it possible. And we ask your blessing. And God's people said,
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Finley. At this time, the Pledge of Allegiance by the Lanier High School ROTC. We do have a quorum with 7 members in attendance. At this time, we need a motion to approve the revised agenda.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the revised agenda.
I second it. Mr. President, I would like to amend the revised agenda to substitute I under 6I, remove that and it be replaced with a posted notice for superintendent. Second. I second the motion.
Okay, it has been moved and properly second that we post a notice for the superintendent, which we'll conduct that in-house. So we have a second already, so.
Mr. Porterfield,
Yeah.
in addition to 6I, could we also change 7A as well? We'll need to change that because that's when we vote for it.
Just delete it.
Oh, that's
Just-
correct. So
well-
we'll replace it with,
No, Ms. Briers, look, 6I is what you said, and then look on
Right.
down to 7A.
Right.
Don't we need to change that as
Right,
well?
because we're not.
yeah, 7A.
Yes, it's recommendation of a firm. So we don't
Okay,
need
so
that.
just
we just
delete that. You're right, you're right.
And what we do then, under the board action, all we do at that point will be to agree to post a notice,
Okay.
which would be a board action.
I just wanted to make sure that we change 7A
Okay.
as well.
When we get there, I'll deal with
I'm
that.
ready for the question now.
Okay, any other discussion? Those who favor, let's see by show of hands. It is unanimous. At this time, we'll have recognitions by Mr. Salter.
Good evening, Mr. President and board members and honored guests. We've got some great things to talk about this evening. First of all, our first honorees this evening are a group of state champions, the Carver High Boys basketball team and their coach, J.J. Jackson. Come on in, guys.
Look how tall that guy
I remember when JJ used to shoot.
Let y'all know I'm a Wolverine now, y'all know that.
Congratulations.
I've raised JJ.
The Wolverines defeated Paul Bryant High School to capture the 6A state championship earlier this month. This is the third time in the past 7 years that the Carver's boys, I should say men's, shouldn't I? Carver
Yeah.
men's basketball team has won the state title. There will be a parade to celebrate the championship starting at 9 o'clock Saturday, March 31st on the Carver campus. Principal Gary Hall, who's here somewhere, I saw him a little bit
He's over
earlier.
there.
Oh, there he is, okay. Principal Hall will be happy to have us all come and celebrate with the team starting again Saturday at 9 o'clock. And I was also told today that the Montgomery County Commission is going to proclaim April 6th as Carver High School Day during their next meeting to honor the team. So that's really, really nice. In addition, Jaquan Walton, one of the team's star players, where's Jaquan? All right, tall guy. He is up for the Alabama High School Athletic Association's coveted Mr. Basketball title. There is an online poll at AL.com, and I sent the link to all of our employees. And you know, I've been through Chicago, so my motto is vote early and vote often, because Jaquan is certainly qualified and would be a great Mr. Basketball for the state. So let's all join in congratulating the team, join the board for its fantastic accomplishments this season. Thanks so much. Thank you, congratulations. Just go on around, yeah. Thank you.
You wouldn't want to go to the restaurant every day.
He's modest too, which is really important. Congratulations.
Mr. Salter, you need to know that's my alma mater.
Oh,
yeah,
I knew that.
yeah.
I knew that Carver was your
JJ.
alma
Yeah.
mater.
I'm
I'm sorry I didn't mention it.
Oh, yeah. Forward ever, backwards never, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Next, we'd like to
He was about like that.
stay in our athletic theme with another athletic star, in this case, a lightning fast runner, Jasmine Riley. Where's Jasmine? Oh, come on up, Jasmine. When it comes to the 100 meters, Jasmine is quite literally leading the pack. She is ranked #1 in the state and 5th in the entire nation.
Wow.
Isn't that something? It really is a remarkable accomplishment, especially considering that Jasmine is just a junior, right? Aren't you just a junior? So I know that her coach, Nolan Miller, Nolan is here? No? Okay. Well, Nolan, I know he's going to be happy to have her for another year at least. So thank you so much for coming tonight. Please join the board in congratulating Jasmine for her speedy success. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you. Devin Reese, where's Devin? Come on up, Devin.
That's my son's best friend.
Devin is a senior at Brewtech Magnet School. Now, he may not be out on the track, but he certainly is putting some miles on those shoes because he's working really hard. Devin works diligently to maintain his 3.71 GPA at school. And then goes every day to E.T. Davis Elementary School to work in the 21st Century Community Learning Center program. Devin's commitment to students is incredible. He can be found mentoring students and bringing special treats as a reward. I have to see if I can get on his mentoring list. And he also works hard to help support the teachers' efforts to provide students with meaningful learning experiences. Devin makes himself available to any of the staff that needs him at the time. We're so proud to have Alabama's 21st CCLC Student Worker of the Year to be part of our MPS family. Congratulations. Fantastic. Congratulations. Okay, next we have the MPS Employees of the Month. Please welcome our certified and classified employees, LaToya McKee of Goodwin Middle School and Maurice Groomster of South Lawn Elementary. Will you come up, please? And I think your principals are here. I see one over there. Ms. McGee has been teaching for 12 years and has been contributing to student and teacher success in a variety of ways throughout her career. She serves on committees, plans events, mentors colleagues, shares curriculum plans, helps develop lessons, and provides professional development. I think you also do the STEP team, don't you? You gonna show us a little? No, okay. Maybe next time, bring the team. She has a talent for identifying her students' unique strengths and helping them use those strengths to overcome their struggles. Principal Curtis Black. Curtis, are you here? Oh.
He's over this
okay.
way. Over there.
Okay. Oh, okay, fantastic. Curtis is here. Says her students love her because she's kind, loving, fun, and truly cares about them. Congratulations for being our Employee of the Month certified. Then we have Mr. Groomster of South Lawn Elementary, where we thought we were going to be tonight, and Tamara Winston is over there, the principal. Mr. Groomster keeps South Lawn Elementary looking its finest, but his contributions to the school don't end there. He not only goes above and beyond his duties, he has a great rapport with the faculty, staff, students, and parents. Principal Winston describes him as dependable, trustworthy, humble, and with a smile that makes everyone else want to smile. Let's see it. There it is. There it is. For his efforts and for her efforts, they not only get the certificate suitable for framing, but they also get a $25 gift card from Target from the good folks at the Baptist Health System. So give us join us in wishing them the best. Thank you so much.
That's
And
one
finally-
of my church members, Tom. Church member.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thanks for the hard work.
Church
Family, you better be careful.
Finally, our, Scott, you gonna go over there and do that thing? That's all, thank you. Finally, our videographer and communication assistant, Scott Johnson, has been working to put together a promotional video for every school, all 53 of them, and there are only a handful left to do. And you can see them all on our MPS YouTube channel. One of the latest is a video for the school we were originally scheduled to have had our board meeting at tonight, South Lawn Elementary. So since we couldn't go there, we brought South Lawn here.
And
so
they
for
are
the next
here.
2 minutes, yeah, right, absolutely. And for the next 2 minutes, we'll take a look at South Lawn Elementary. You'll see her face up there in just a second.
Students enjoy coming to school. They love and hug on me on a daily basis. We spend time together in the classroom. I'm visiting the classroom just to see where they are. They like to share their projects with me, all the accomplishments they're achieving. South Lawn is a community school, so most of our students, they do walk to school. We don't have any buses here. We are nestled in the South Lawn community.
I know a lot of my kids and their parents, and as a first-year teacher, that was a very surprising element of South Lawn. Not only are my kids walking to school each day, but the parents are coming up here to meet them, and we're literally not only look at data, we identify what is that we need to do with the data. We identify why they didn't match the standard and come up with other tangible goals that can help them meet and match those standards. So I would definitely have to say this is a data-driven school with the understanding of what to do with their data. To keep my students actively engaged, I normally make sure that they are hands-on, up and moving, not only that, engaging the content, making sure it's related to real-life experiences. And so most of the time, if I can get them engaged in the beginning, it's like I got them and I can take them all the way home. And so I'm just excited to see my students excited about learning.
And we love the students here, we love the teachers, and we're just a family working together to make sure that the school is successful and the students are achieving all of their goals and accomplishing their standards.
Go South Lawn. Go South Lawn.
Next on the agenda will be the executive session, real property. We need a motion to go into executive session. This is on. The next item on the agenda is the executive session of real property. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. President, go ahead, Ms. Dawkins.
Mr. President, I move that we go into executive session
I'll
for real property.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and properly second that we go into executive session for real property. Is there any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, those who in favor, let's see by show of hands. Abstentions? Okay, one abstention. The board will go into executive session to discuss real property. We should be in executive session approximately 15 minutes. During executive session, no votes will be taken. Thank you. 202.
I know it, I'm sorry. They're supposed to be helping you.
You got my camera.
I see.
There's one over on First Avenue that I'm going to try.
That was a quick 15 minutes, but we are ready to continue on. The next item on the agenda,
I'm going to turn them.
we will receive as information. The executive session has been completed. No decision was made during the meeting. We will now reconvene the combined meeting. Next item on the agenda is receive as information, A+ College Relic Pipeline, by Ms. Karen Atkins.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hey.
Good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity to be on and provide an AP update for you. One goal established for the district AP program has been to expand the AP programs at all schools, both traditional and magnet, so that all students will have an equal opportunity to take advanced rigorous courses that could possibly lead to college credit while still in high school. And to do that, we have two areas we're looking at. One is increase the number of students enrolled in the current courses, and second was to be able to expand the number of courses being offered. So it is with my pleasure come to announce that two things have occurred to help us reach this goal. Number one, successful attainment can be celebrated through the notification that LAMP will now be recognized as an AP capstone school.
Yay!
Yes, congratulations to LAMP. I don't think you know there, that's a wonderful. What this means, collaboration through LAMP's administration in conjunction with MPS leadership, they applied for and were awarded the permission to offer the AP Capstone Diploma Program. The AP Capstone Diploma Program provides distinction for LAMP students as they compete globally for scholarships and as they seek college admission. This diploma program confirms that LAMP students have successfully completed the rigorous AP coursework that is offered, as well as that they have succeeded in independent research, that they can work collaboratively as a team, and that they have enhanced communication skills that most colleges are looking for now through the completion of the additional AP seminar and AP research courses. So this is quite an honor for them. However, I'm also just as elated to announce to you that Lanier High School has applied for, through collaboration and collaborative efforts through their administration and the district administration, they've applied for AP College Ready Pipeline School. And they've been awarded that status as well. And what does this mean? This means that we are preparing those teachers and those students, not only at Lanier, but their feeder schools of Bellingraph and McKee Middle School, to be successful when they reach Lanier High School to take those advanced rigorous courses, so that we are increasing equity and opportunity for all of our students there. The pipeline status will begin 18-19 school year, actually this summer we're talking about. They will offer funding to send teachers to training, as well as equipment stipends, so that we can get the materials that the students need at McKee, at Bellingraph, and at Lanier. So this funding will reach down from grades 6 through 11 for math, and 6 through 10 for English, social studies, and science. And that way we are preparing all of those students to embark on that rigorous coursework that we're looking for. So it is with great excitement that I announce and share with you both of these accomplishments for LAMP and for Lanier, so that we can begin to expand our AP program. As well, we are working with each of the counselors at the high schools to make sure that they are letting the parents know of the availability of these additional courses and the courses that are currently there. And we also are making sure they're talking with the students to let them know to make those recommendations if they're capable of taking those classes, so that it will be well known and that they can take advantage of these opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll ask you one more question. Are y'all going to be able to do like we used to do when we had the AP grant, where the students can go for they have like a Saturday session where they practice and get ready for the AP exams?
That currently has been going on for Park Crossing, because they are the only school within our district still under the A+ College Ready grant.
Right.
This is their 3rd year, so yes, they have been participating in Saturday study sessions. The pipeline status will enable some of Lanier's high school students that are taking the AP classes to attend those. And once, for the next school term, the 1920 school year, if they are applied and awarded the A+ College Ready grant, they will then have those same opportunities to attend those study sessions.
Okay, so who do we need to talk to about reapplying as a district for the A+ grant?
The A+ College grant is offered on a one-time basis for those schools to become partner or program schools. However, there are other funding options that we've shared with the high school principals. Is an A+ College Ready Matching Funds grant that would enable them to have additional funding for those types of things as we offer it.
Right.
We currently have one other school that has not participated as an A+ College Ready school in any capacity, and we're currently talking with the principal and trying to see if we can reach that agreement so they may come on board next year. And that way, all of our high schools in Montgomery will have been part of the A+ College Ready program.
Okay. Dr. Moore, if we could figure out a way to press that, we somehow dropped the ball. We should have kept that going in some way. I know that we talked about it as a board several years ago, but those Saturday sessions are so important for all of our children and all of our schools to be able to go to. Because you've got to go to those if you're going to get a good score on the AP exams. So I just would like all of our students to have that opportunity. Thank you so much.
Also, if you would encourage the counselors to push our students. A lot of times they're looking for the easy way out, but they have to be encouraged. So make that a part of your plan when you're working with the counselors, to really encourage students to do it.
Yes, ma'am, and they are talking with parents as well and looking at other data resources so that it's not just left up to the student to determine if they're capable of successful completion of those rigorous courses. So
Well,
thank you.
Mr. President, I just wanted to add, I'm so excited to hear this. This was one of the things that I really wanted to see in our district. So it's good news, and I can't wait to see just the children get excited about it and have that support, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next item to receive as information will be the MPS Elementary Honor Choir. Frazier, Dr. Stephen Bonet.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Regarding the MPS Elementary Honor Choir agreement, in the past, there has been an event involving the MPS Elementary Honor Choir that is a performance group of approximately 120 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade singers from over 20 of our elementary schools. The students and the music specialists, including music teachers, meet together all day, the day of the event, at Fraser Memorial Methodist Church and prepare for the concert that is televised on live TV courtesy of Fraser TV that evening. The concert this year will take place on Tuesday, May 8th, 2018. As part of that partnership with Fraser, they require that all organizations using their facilities to present a certificate of insurance, and we have provided them with a certificate of coverage, and it is sufficient to prove MPS's general liability coverage.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Mr. President, what, just out of curiosity, and it may be in here, what's the cost of it? I mean, it may be in here, but I just.
It is.
The cost for our insurance coverage?
Yes.
It's already included with our insurance plan that we already have for the entirety, so it's no additional cost.
Okay.
So what we currently covers that event and those students and teachers.
Just making sure it's covered when they're out there
Self-insured.
is what that's about.
Insurance.
Okay. Okay, the next, thank you, Dr. Bonet. Next item, the Park Crossing Senior Breakfast, Dr. Andrew Moore.
Before I start, I'd like to preface this by saying that there are a number of contracts on the agenda tonight that are probably a little bit different, and they're not necessarily for a huge amount. And so I'm working with Mr. Rudolph to see if there's a way that we can have it so that the superintendent can approve contracts up to a certain amount for these kinds of activities. So that for future reference, they may not be a part of what you have to deal with as a board. But we'll bring that to you as we develop the form for that. Okay,
Dr. Moore, we did that. We
has
did.
that been done already?
No, was it not approved? Because we talked about it.
There's not a policy.
Okay.
We talked about it, but the policy was never carried over.
Excuse me. I knew we had talked about doing that.
Okay, so I checked to see if there was something there that could be used, but I didn't find anything. But we will bring something to you so that you don't necessarily have to deal with these kind of items.
Perfect.
Maybe we'll have them in there for your information, so you'll know what's going on, but not for upload necessarily. Okay? So, the Park Crossing Senior Breakfast, that's going to be, you have in there a rental agreement. This is not going to be any funds that the school system will have to expend.
That's one at the Alabama Activity Center.
Right, at the Alabama Activity Center.
I do want to just make clear that if we do that, that you do at least give us a list of what you're doing, because I sent an email in on this earlier, because I did question it just the way it was written, and like I said, I didn't know what it was. So if we have some kind of a list of what it was, I'd appreciate that.
And typically, we get this information from the schools, because they sort of orchestrate their own plans, but they submit those to us and share them with you. Okay, then the other thing is the Confucius Institute at Troy University and Loveless Academy. They're going to be working with the Chinese language and doing some work with students culturally and also some academic kinds of things, but it will fall under this particular agreement between the school system and LAMP and Troy University Confucius Academy. And so you can look at all the things they're going to do. When you look under obligations, it would tell you about some of the things that they're going to contribute. and some of the multimedia material and other things that will be of benefit, not only to those students, the Chinese students, but also to LAMP as they work through this process. The next item is the,
Mr. Dodson, we have the next item being the ASU graduation contract.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the board, Madam Superintendent, you should have received in your packet the 2018 contract for the ASU Acadome for the graduations for our 5 traditional high schools. If you will notice, the cost is the same as last year. Again, for your information, I'll entertain any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Thank you, but you're up again. The Cone Elevator Maintenance Contract.
You should have also received in your packet, this is basically for basic elevator maintenance. These are some of the contracts that we are bringing to you now. This will have it standardized with one company to maintain our elevators, but of course, separate issues that we may have will be a separate cost, but this company will cover those as well. I'll entertain any questions.
So they're checked monthly, and we pay that $65?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dodson. You again with the Alabama Power contract.
Right, you all receive these periodically from the public utilities that will want to use our property in order to do some of the work that they do. Here, this is on the Montgomery Mall property that we own. Alabama Power would like to construct a power pole in one of the islands. You should have a map in your packet as well. I'll entertain any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Next again, the Orkin Pest Control contract.
You should have in your packet a copy of the integrated pest control contract with Orkin. In the past, we've had separate pest control contracts for the child nutrition department and for the school proper. Here, we will have an integrated contract where all of it will be done at the same time. The problem with having separate is that once they would go in and do child nutrition or the lunchroom, then the rodents would run to the school. When you do the school, then they would run to the child nutrition or the kitchen. So this will allow, at one time, we'll do the entire school, which will hopefully will help eradicate some of our rodent problems.
Did we put this out for bid or what?
This is on the community's contract.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Next item on the agenda, I spoke to Dr. Richardson today, and rather than going through the national search, he was doing our in-house posting a notice for a superintendent. So I just want to share that information with you, that we will be doing the superintendent search through in-house. You have received a copy of the notice, and certainly if there is anything we need to address, I've asked you all to certainly tweak whatever you need to before we send it out tomorrow.
I'd like to ask if we could have a work session once we, or something like that, that we can meet and have discussion over whatever happens going on. Don't you think we need that kind of time?
We may can have a work session, I would imagine, after this, in terms of, what are you concerned about the work session?
I just think we need to discuss it. I mean, there at some point, you need to sit down and discuss the pluses, the minuses, and, just coming in here and doing this is, I just want to know we've got the information. I think we should be able to discuss it.
If you have anything in regards to this notice that you would like to have tweaked, then we'd ask that you would do that before we send this announcement out.
And where is that notice? Because I don't think I've gotten it.
Okay. Leave it on your desk, you were late coming in.
Okay, well, it's never been here. Okay, this is the first time for me to see this. I was 2 minutes late. Which I won't bring up the 2 times you've been late that I've carried it. So.
Mr. President, if I'm in order of a board action, the posting of this notice, that if there is no objection to anything that's already on the posted notice, that this is what we have always used when we have done superintendent search.
It will come up in the next item when we have the
7A.
7A.
That's right. Well, we did with that.
We just gave you information. Do we want to go on with 7A now to make a motion and then get a second as we can move on and have this posted tomorrow?
Can I ask a question on the, if we're gonna do it posted, will it be also posted on the state school board website?
Yes, it will.
So everybody who's part of.
Everybody get an opportunity to see it.
In the state?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you. Well,
President, if
we
I
need to
may-
move to board action 7A.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt 7A with the posted notice for our
Second.
superintendent.
It has been moved and properly second that we move forward with the posted notice. Is there any other discussion?
Are we not going to have a work session after that to discuss this? And that's what I'm asking, maybe, so if there's no work session.
We'll have to discuss the candidates and all of that in the process that we use.
Okay.
Like we've always done.
Are there any other discussion? Those who are in favor, let's see by show of hands, please. It is unanimous.
Okay, moving to, item B, 7B. I recommend the approval of the personnel report, certified personnel, and addendum. Please omit number 56 of the certified personnel.
I have a question. When we omit 56, what does that mean? Does that mean we're accepting
No, we just
that?
take it out.
It's off.
You just take it off, okay.
Number what now again? I know you gave it to
56.
56.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the personnel report for certified personnel on addendum number 1, certified personnel, omitting number 56.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we approve the superintendent's recommendation for the certified personnel report. Is there any discussion? Those who are in favor, let's see by show of hands.
I recommend approval of the personnel report, support personnel, and addendum, omitting item number 54, under the minutes, S4, I'm sorry. S4.
Yes.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the personnel report, support personnel, and addendum 1 for support personnel, omitting S4.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the support personnel report. Support personnel report. Is there a second? We did get a second. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Those who are in favor, let's see by show of hands.
Against.
You are against?
On the support,
Okay.
yeah.
Opposed.
Opposed
One-
on the support.
One opposed. 6-4, one opposed.
I recommend approval of the board minutes dated January 30th, February 13th, and 21st, 2018.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the recommendation of the superintendent to approve the board minutes of January 30th, February 13th, and February 21st.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of the said minutes for January, February 13th, 20th, and the 21st. Is there any discussion? Those who are in favor, let's see by show of hands. It is unanimous.
I recommend approval of the bid report.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation on the bid report.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation on the bid report. Is there any discussion? Since there's none, those who are in favor, let's see by show of hands.
I recommend approval of the MPS Elementary Honor Choir at Fraser agreement.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the MPS Elementary Honor Choir at Fraser, UMC.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation about MPS Elementary Honor Choir at Fraser. Is there any discussion? Those who are in favor, let's see by show of hands. It is unanimous.
I recommend approval of the Park Crossing Senior Breakfast Agreement.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the Park Crossing Senior Breakfast contract.
Second.
It is moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of the Park Crossing Senior Breakfast contract. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, those who are in favor, let's see by a show of hands.
And then one against it.
You're going against? Against,
Park Crossing.
at one. Nick.
I recommend approval of the Lamp and Confucius Institute contract.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the Lamp and Confucius Institute contract.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept superintendent's recommendation of the Lamp and Confucius Institute contract. Is there any discussion? Those who are in favor, let's see by a show of hands. It is unanimous.
I recommend approval of the ASU graduation contract.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation on the ASU graduation contracts.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of the ASU graduation contract. Is there any discussion? None. Those who are in favor, let's see by a show of hands. It is unanimous.
I recommend approval of the Cone Elevator maintenance contract.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the Cone Elevator Maintenance Contract.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of the Cone Elevator Maintenance Contract. Is there any discussion? Those who are in favor, let's see by a show of hands. It is unanimous.
I recommend approval of the Alabama Power contract.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the Alabama Power contract.
It has
Second.
It has been moved and properly second. I thought I heard one. It has been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of the Alabama Power contract. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, those who are in favor, let's see by a show of hands. It is unanimous.
And lastly, I recommend the approval of the Orkin Pest Control contract.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the Oregon Pest Control contract.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of the Orchid Pest Control contract. Is there any discussion? Those who are in favor, let's see by a show of hands. It is unanimous. At this time, we move into our scheduled public comments. I will read a script for public comments. Ladies and gentlemen, our next agenda item is public comments. It is important that we follow the rules of order and protocol in making public comments. The rules and procedures are as follows. Requests must be made in advance and writing to the superintendent's office about 4:30 p.m. on the Tuesday preceding the meeting date. Requests must specify the nature of the business to be taken up with the board and the name of the person who will address the board to be added to the agenda. Communications must be respectful. Discussing specific student or employee matters will not be allowed. Individuals who have concerns that are inappropriate to be solved in this venue are welcome to seek a problem-solving meeting with the superintendent. Immediate feedback by the board may not be provided. However, you may be contacted for follow-up by the superintendent or designee. Public comments may not exceed 5 minutes. The board chair has full authority to terminate the remarks of any person whose comments contain personal attacks, exceed the time limit, or are otherwise inappropriate. A speaker may be considered disruptive who continues to speak when their allotted time has ended, when asked to stop speaking by the board chair, or is otherwise inappropriate. If a person fails to comply when asked to terminate comments, he or she will be escorted to their seat, out of the auditorium, or off MPS property, depending on the level of disruption. The first person on our agenda is Ms. Katie Brown, our children. Is she here? Mr. William Hilliard, simply thinking big every day in every way.
Thank you, Mr. President. For 28 years, I've been doing a program in Montgomery and across the state of Alabama called Think Big. And of course, I came to make this a gift to the superintendent and let her know I'm still waiting for my phone. She's gonna fix me up, just so that I won't be starting from point zero, okay? Most people by now expect me to talk about Think Big. I'm not gonna talk about Think Big today. I'm gonna talk about the word continuity. I met Jesse Barnes and his mother a number of years ago. How old are you now? 12. I met him when he was 4 years old. It was a very tough situation. I've seen him grow from age 4 to 12. In a very tough situation, even this very moment. But I've got good news for you today. A lady watched Jesse and his attitude toward his math teacher at Bellingrad. And she reported to us how bad his attitude was. And he will tell you it was right. Say loud. It was bad toward his math teacher. Because I've been mentoring him for this length of time, I had a choice getting on his case or getting before his creator. And I chose to get before his creator and say, help! Because I couldn't force Jesse to do what I wanted him to do. About 4 months later, the same teacher, who, by the way, was in the classroom for 40 years, came back with excitement and said, Jesse has changed. It is so remarkable, it's so incredible until she can hardly believe it. And she knows it because she is in that classroom. And I said, say that again. She said it again. I said, you don't mean it. She said, nobody can believe how much Jesse has changed. So on that day, I was scheduled to speak at the city council in Montgomery. I took Jesse and his mother with me, and I told the story. We took pictures with Mayor Todd Strange and the city councilman, and we made a big ado over the fact that Jesse had changed. And it's all about continuity. The word that I come to bring to you today is continuity. And this is what we must put emphasis on in the school system today. It's not about the subject matter alone. It's about continuity from K to 1 and from 1 to 2, 1 through 12. There has to be continuity. And the one thing that has been really solid with me over the last 28 years is continuity. When people see me, they expect for me to talk about Think Big, because I know, number one, it works. And it will work from now until the world ends. And so I would like for you all to just join me in giving Jesse and his mother a big applause for the fact that we see change and it works. Would you all? And I want to tell you today, I didn't come to talk about it. I came to talk about the fact that it worked for Jesse. It worked for somebody else. And God is no respecter of persons.
Absolutely.
What he's done for Jesse, he'll do it for any child in Montgomery Public School System. Thank you very much.
One success, one student at a time. We appreciate you. One at a time. I hope I'm pronounced Tashia Craig? Tashia? Toshia. and educational democracy and the core laws of governance.
Superintendent, board, presiding board members, supporters, Montgomery County. Today's presentation will be brief because it's of the importance of decision making. So I want to share with you 4 laws that I think you should be aware of in any decision you make from this point. There are 2 decisions that I pray that you will be wise on in this season, and that's on school violence and your new superintendent. It's going to require strategy. It's going to require that you understand this. The first law of governance is divine and universal law. It is not governed by law, policy, and personal preference or ordinance. It is what most people call their morality or their God. The second law is the letter of the law, which would be the Constitution, Code of Alabama, your policies, so forth. The third law is the law of your consciousness, which is your principles. Your principles are a combination of either your faith, your experiences, your pros, your cons. So much of you are principles, but it's not necessarily based on your faith. The last law is the law of the democracy, which is the voice of the people. And the voice of the people will determine often what the law is, the letter of the law is. Now, let me pause. There is one law I've mentioned that no man, no democracy can control. That's the universal law. Anytime you make a decision, please make sure that you have agreement in your principles, which is the law of your consciousness. And there are times where you can't override the letter of the law. But if there are times where you can override the letter of the law based on favor, discretion that you do have as leaders, because the decisions that you make strategically affect not only you, but every single child, every administrator, and every teacher, not only in this generation, but in the generations to come. So when we have individuals who think that being on the board may be some type of reality television show, it does not benefit any of us. We all must take all of our responsibilities very, very seriously. The new superintendent, whomever this will be, I've been praying, and I pray that the community will pray and intercede that God's hand will be on this. We can no longer wait to be having people coming in and out. We need consistency. We need leadership that the people will follow and will respect. And I pray that the hand of God will be upon you as you make this decision. Now, there are things that you can have all of these laws, but if you lack wisdom, and wisdom only comes from God. So if you do not know how to use the letter of the law, do not know how to examine your own consciousness, do not understand the universal law, whichever God you call God, then you are already ill-equipped. So you're going to have to understand all 4 to make these dire decisions. You can no longer ignore school violence. It's in our faces, our spaces, and our places. Are you prepared? You cannot ignore that we can't go forward with our children unless you find some serious leadership for us. Because leadership by God is never denied. When He puts a head on something, the head is on the body. It will guide us to success. So take it seriously in your prayers. This is all I have to say. But in Hebrews, the 10th chapter, I want you to remember that the universal law governs all. And if you fail to use that one first, then woe be unto you. And there will be judgment if you don't. I may not be here to see it, but I decree it right now. If you will be covered by the blood of Jesus, He will help you and guide you in all of these things. And I leave you with peace. And I leave you in the hands of a living God. Be blessed.
Well, we certainly thank you for those encouraging words. Thank you very much. That concludes the schedule.
Just flip over.
What? Back. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have Ms. Janet Humphreys, Charter Schools.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
I say no to charter schools. These proposed charter schools are nothing but private schools masquerading as a public school. But in this case, you are not paying for the privilege of attending this charter school. But if your child does not follow the rules, your child will be put out. But the money that went along with your child would not be returned to MPS. It will stay with that charter school. I'm just saying. This also means that the same child will be placed back in the original MPS system. But this time, the money that went along with this child to the charter school, it would not be returned to MPS. So we're then again faced with a shortage, yet once again. But let me say thank you to you all. Thank you to this wonderful board. Thank you for the support that you all have given us. I stand before you today as a support person. I'm asking that the state does not outsource our jobs. We need our jobs. Let's see. At the beginning of the school year at Park Crossing, I stood at the mic and I asked the question, will our jobs be outsourced or privatized? I was told, and it was on tape, that we would not be outsourced or privatized. Here we are, standing yet 6 or 7 months later, and now our jobs are talking about being outsourced. Yes, it's in the wind, you know, the street committee will bring it to us, so. Okay. I, like most people, believe in saying what you mean and mean what you say. In other words, please don't lie to us. Now I'm talking about the state intervention. We have undergone background checks and job training. The personnel are the lowest paid and the most overworked in the system. Now the state intervention process is trying to cut and outsource these jobs. Many of us have dedicated 5 or more years to MPS, to the various jobs, but mostly to the students. If you outsource or privatize these jobs, the MPS system will lose, but mostly the students. We are here to serve. If you plan on replacing dedicated, honest, hard-working employees with some that you just get off the street without the investment and dedication, not only will you increase the unemployment in Montgomery, which they are really raving because it's down really, really low for the state, but you don't know what you'll be putting your children in the hands of. Most of you have never worked in any support position. You need to put yourselves in our position. We are dedicated to MPS students and our jobs. Would you all like to lose your jobs? I think not. But your job is someone that hasn't earned it, haven't paid the dues and sweat equity. We're just asking that it does not come to outsourcing or privatizing our jobs in Montgomery County. That's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much. Next, we have Ms. Andrea Howard, closing of schools.
Hello, my name is Andrea Howard, and I'd like to thank you for allowing me to speak with you today. I am the treasurer for Montgomery County ESPs, and I'm currently a custodian at JD. I feel eliminating and trying to privatize the custodial staff jobs with the school system will be a big mistake. Custodians are your first line of defense in your schools. We are the first ones in the building and the last ones to leave. We ensure that our kids have a clean and safe learning environment. If you take the time out to talk with the custodians in your building, you will find out we are much more than just our title. Some of us are deacons, deacon wives, mother of the church, pastor and pastor wives, and much more. The skills we possess as custodians are more extensive than just cleaning. We help counsel the kids when they're having a bad day. We encourage them to do and want more. We assist with security by manning our campus gates, and we are the eyes and ears of the building. We report any unauthorized kids in the hallway and any mischievous activities. If you eliminate our jobs, these are the valuable people you will be losing. At our schools, the custodians are overworked, understaffed, overlooked, and underpaid. But in spite of all this, we still take pride in our work. The schools in our system are our community, and we take care of our community. We have kids and family members that we love that attend these same schools we keep clean. We deal with hazardous material every day, and the last thing we need to worry about if we're going to have a job or not. We have multiple employees who are too young to retire, but often feel as though they are too old to start over. Let us be realistic about this issue. We understand that age discrimination is illegal, but we know the younger candidate is often higher over the older candidate. One of the things I suggest is that we set up a panel of custodians to meet with the state to hear our concerns, and we hear theirs. We really want them to understand how vital our skills are needed. We are important just as much as the other faculty. I feel communication is the key to this situation, so both parties can have a win-win. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent.
Next, we have Ms. Edwina Rev,
Yes,
privatization of jobs.
it should be privatization of jobs, but I want to speak on behalf of the CAP workers. As stated, I am Edwina Ralph from Child Nutrition Manager at Chisholm Elementary. From my understanding, cafeteria workers are being threatened with layoffs. Why? Well, we are not a part of the education process to the affecting of grades. Our job is ensuring a child's nutritional needs are met so that they will be able to focus on their academics and hearing what's being taught, instead of the rumbling that's going on in their empty stomachs. Before those kids get up in the morning, we're already in the cafeteria, preparing breakfast and waiting with a smile to greet them. And while they're learning, we are still preparing meals to feed them for lunch, as well as before they prepare to leave, we're preparing again for the at-risk program, ensuring that they are eating before their classes begin and even after their classes end. We are still there nurturing our children. We are support personnel, so we're wondering, why are our jobs being affected when we are the support factor? We are doing our part to help them perform, yet our heads seem to be placed on the guillotine. We do not want to lose our job, which we are very passionate about, to someone who may not have had any background checks or simply working to get a check. Privatization is not the answer for us. A quote by Benjamin Franklin is known: failing to plan is planning to fail. If we don't plan properly, something will fail. Another quote, in that, without planning and preparation from our school director and staff, we would not be able to nourish our kids the way that we do in our district. Another quote by Malcolm X: the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So I ask you, what are we doing today to prepare for the workers' future and end the recidivism of constant back and forth laying off of workers? Thank you.
Next, we have the Mr. Bruce Giles, closing of schools.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Bruce Giles, and I'm asking the State Department not to outsource my job. I'm a custodian and have dedicated more than 17 years to MPS. I have random drug tests and background tests, and with all that, now you want to outsource my job. I have worked hard to get a keep. My question is why you will end up with someone who does not care about the job, only the paycheck. So please do not outsource my job. Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda will be the citizens' comments. Who? Who's that? No, that's Miss Elma Bowen. She's right now.
It was Alan.
Alan left?
He had to be here at 6:30.
Oh, Alan left. Okay. What happened?
Anybody here? Rob?
Oh. Okay. Well,
No, it was
Alan.
Alan.
Alan, he had to leave.
Alan, let's try to, it was Alan who signed up, and we already having a conversation about that. But then certainly, the next time we'll make, we can get you on. Okay? Thank you for coming out anyway. Appreciate you all. Really do. Appreciate you. Since there are no other citizen comments at this time, this meeting is adjourned. The next meeting dates will be April 17, 2018, 5 p.m. Regular board meeting will be in the central office here. This meeting is now adjourned.
Yay. Please come.